This is better to stand here. Do you see me and hear me? Good. I got a topic. One day I was busy, and my secretary came. They want your topic. And I was like shooting from my hip. And I told this, I want to talk about the value of a smile. She has a beautiful smile, by the way. And later, when I started making the presentation, I was like, ooh, I wish I was presenting something else. But this is what it is. I should also start with a story. India is close to my heart. We used to live here for 5 years. Statsrakaldost. And I used to travel a lot, every state. And this is in Kolkata. And my former boss said, every time you travel somewhere, see something. Okay. So I went to this place, a house. Everybody heard about Mother Teresa, right? So I went into this charity ministry house. And it didn't look too well, so I just run in. And suddenly I see, 10 guys laying there and 10 guys laying there, soon to expire. Laying there like for the last part of their life. So I was like turning around and I went out again. And I was thinking, what did I see? So I was looking up on the sign and it said, the home for the destitute and dying people. So I was thinking, if they can do it, I can do it. So I went back again. And I had a few hours when I was speaking to them. It was such an emotional journey, which is like, I keep on reminding it often because they had no bitterness in their life. You know, the poorest of the poor, they were just laying there and they had the mattress, they had the pajamas, they get fed, they had the ventilation in the roof. They were so appreciative of the last part of the journey. So, lovely ladies up there. So, do I have the presentation here? Just let me know when it's coming. Okay. I work for a company called Marine Benefits. And this is not a big commercial talk, huh? But every day in Marine Benefits, we have Valentine's Day. Okay? So we go with the heart, and we say we want to do business with a heart. And this is lovely Ida, who was with me here for a while back when we did a deep research of the Indian seafarers. So we call it the many faces of the Indian seafarers. Let me see. Did I get a clicker or do you click me through? You click me through. No, you don't click me through. This is just one slide just to put up the network. We don't have the Browns hospital in our network, but we have 50,000 hospitals. So we do several 100,000 claims for sick people throughout the year. In now it's 79 countries, and we have a network of 500,000 doctors, which sends us all the types of claims with all the statistics for every illness or accidents that occur for seafarers. The seafarers, they are like everybody else. They're getting more and more unhealthy. 10 years back, just 47% were having lifestyle-related illnesses. Now it's 62%. They're starting getting unhealthy. And if you look towards 2030, the annual increase in cost for health is going to increase by 13% on a CAGR level, which is far higher than GDP growth. And when you have the mismatch, it opens up for health is becoming an investment. And health is a big business, right? That's why people invest in it. That's why people write books. That's why people want to be enlightened for what they do. That is why we are in the business. And this is how it's going to be. Today's $1,061 is the average cost per head. Global cost for people around the world in healthcare. In 2030, it's stipulated to be $7,500. It is huge. Is it possible to make it go down? Not like me. I'm a firm believer in staying healthy. And I do run. And yeah, I thought it was good as well. So I started running barefoot. Anybody run barefoot? Don't do. So I was starting running marathons barefoot. And I could do 2 marathons a day. And suddenly I thought I had broken all my toes. It wasn't. It was just like bursitis or something. And now I do acupuncture, and I'm soon getting ready to run again with shoes. So we need hospitals. We need medicine. Medicine man. I don't remember. There you are, huh? So we need those as well. But there is also a room for something else, which is the more staying healthy. So running an insurance company, let me see if this is working. We're very looking at every incident that is happening. And we always do the downstream. Are you familiar with downstream? We just pay when the incidents have happened instead of trying to prevent it from happening. So we try to go on the green side. And today you see the refresh down in the right corner? No, left corner for you. It says refresh, and that is what is a program or a study which we have started doing across the world. And what we try to do to understand, why do people get sick? The why behind the whys. And one of the stories we'll go through is, why do people get, or we call it repatriated, seafarers sail, right? They're gone from like 4 to 9 months a year. And it's an increasing trend that people go home. So you're sent home, which is extremely costly. So the whole thing we say, okay, let's increase health, decrease claims. Decrease cost, I mean. So we started, when I have a life in Coca-Cola. That is my background. And it's not from the health industry, so it's on the other side of the equation, right? Now I try to do the healthy things, which is good, huh? So I also write a book. I was called Mr. Increase. And I was about to launch it in 2014. And I was good at it. I didn't launch it. Why? Because I thought it was wrong. Because it could, well, I thought it was wrong, so I didn't launch it. So I call it the best not launched book ever. But so we tried to replicate what have the best institutions in the world done when it comes to measuring health and well-being. So we split it into this one. The body, the mind, the psychological, the social and the spiritual side. Spiritual side, we are the right place in the world. Anybody been to Hampi? That is on my bucket list. I want to go there. So we measure everything. So everything you can touch and feel on this man, what's in his head, what's in his heart, and the relationship we're having, okay? That's what we're doing. And then we try to cover some truths. We have it in 21 different languages. Well, people can have it in their mother tongue. And everybody knows the public health wheel. We just had to maritimize it a little bit, put it like a vessel. Welcome, by the way. So we had to make it a little bit maritimized. So you see the seafarers in the middle, which starting with him, and then we go outwards. Okay? From downstream to upstream, that is what we're trying to do. And the companies, anybody had been working in the maritime sector here? No. Anybody who's working in a company who's a bit stingy on using cost? I have. Not everybody sees the value of investing in health. Is it a return on investment if you invest in health? Also on the stock exchange, is it? So that is what we're going to try to look a little bit into. So there are 4 types of companies. Those who are purely focused on results, and those purely focused on people. What is the optimal thing? Am I blocking your view? Is okay? Well, Arjun Singh, he likes the green one. Everybody remembers Arjun Singh from the history books? No? Anyway. He likes a team-leading company where the owners and the crew is like the seafarers, owners are the one who's owning the company. I was together with a big client of us yesterday, and they have just got new owners, an investment company. And they have completely stopping focusing on people and purely focusing on financial results. Because that's what we're in the business for, right? You want to make money. We're not in the business to be kind to people, not even at Brown's Hospital in Sri Lanka. You're not. You're in there to make money. But is it a conflict of interest, making money, and doing the good things? It doesn't have to be. A lot of distrust, anybody knows the trust matrix? It's a lot of distrust, or is that correcting? Distrust, or not trust between the crew and the owners. So in our company, we're trying to, how should I call it, make the trust come alive between the partners. So yes, we made a journey. I like models, both on 2 legs and in a 2x2 or a flow chart. I do. And companies expect us to do it, but can we be a little bit smart doing it at the same time? So companies in this to make profits. And that's what we're talking to people with our clients. When we do this, this is free of charge. Every time we do it, it's free of charge. But on the side, we're not selling consultancy services, we are selling insurance. So this is a way of keeping clients. We have never lost a client when we work like this. So they're in there to make money, but they need competent and engaged crew. And if you lift it a little bit, it's looking like this. Now we are taking a few more steps here. So you see on the 3rd level, happy and healthy crew is one of the key instruments for a company making money. So we try to come in then on different parts. So you see again, refresh is coming in. How can we make people healthy and the companies making more money? And it's not an interest of conflict. So yes, it's a journey, it's a model, it's a flow chart, but it's also a story behind it. So we believe in DNA analytics, meaning we like to know the whys behind the whys, or why do you smile as you do? Because it has a value. Anybody seen this one? All the types of intelligence. IQ is only representing 50% of a financial value of a company or the results. 85 is coming from the soft values. We talked about emotions as having a value. Emotions do have value. The meaning, this lady here, the meaning of doing something, she was like walking then for a week, it was a week, right? Month. But I do understand it, but I do it in one day. So I run far to just empty my mind. But you go through phases even though. Sometimes you have to reset the stress in everyday life. So the meaning of doing something, or the body intelligence, which is the BQ. And you make more money. But it's a complex change. When we work with clients, it's not simple. That's why we have to, number one there, increase the skills. So that is what we're doing. We made a system to increase the skill sets of clients. And if you don't have it, you have anxiety. Just like going to the exam. Remember, I talked about 2 types of insurance, one at home, one away. And it has different type of cost. The cost for an insurance the claim when they are sailing is $12,800 every time there is an incident for something. If they're home, it's $128, 100 times more expensive. As an insurance company, what do you think we would like to do? We want to lower the cost. We're in this to make money as well. And yes, it is cynical, but that's what we try to do. So, I'll take you through the many phases of the Indian seafarer. Very simple, we start simple, and then we're trying to come into why do people get off the vessel? What is the number one driver? And what is the value of that? Meet Arjun and Suresh. One is happy, one is not happy, though both are smiling. First of all, we go to the companies, we measure them. So we go in, we do the body mass index. It's not that important itself to just see the results, but 80% are on the heavier side. Waist to height ratio, everybody who's into BMI at least use the Asian cutoff if you're in Asia, or the European if you're in Europe. But most companies do not follow it. So we follow the waist to height. So that's the cutoff. And again, 65% is too big. They go through a screening, which is before they go on board a vessel, which is called PEME, pre-medical. And all these guys have come through from the very healthy to the not healthy. The screening process is not always too good. The blood pressure, 85% is having a out of sync blood pressure. It's not the important thing either, but the span here is. Blood pressure, and we measure them when they're home and when they're gone. And did you know, the longer they're at home with the relarki, getting their homemade samosa, etc., the blood pressure is going up. The longer they stay home, the more unhealthy. You're into nutrition, right? No? Okay, I thought you were. Anyway, the longer they're home, the blood pressure is getting worse. So they do something correct on board the vessels. We measure their fitness age. NTNU in Norway, the Norwegian Technical University. So their actual age of an average Indian seafarer is 35 years old. His fitness age is 42. So he's 7 years up. Well, this is how they exercise: the frequency, the intensity, and the duration. Ideal body weight, 8 kilos too high, they're too much. It comes between the rank, the older you become, or the higher rank you're becoming, the more heavy you are. And in a high power index society, people aspire to become like the captain. They do. If you have an angry person on board a vessel or in the company, people aspire to become like him. We'll look at that later. But also when it comes to the health-wise or the body mass index, to put it this way. They smoke, they do stress. This is Cohen perceived stress test. They're just under a little bit, almost highly stressed. This is how it's spanning from 1 to 40. 40 is the biggest stress level. They don't know how to manage stress. Depression. Two depressed person on every vessel. And they don't know they don't monitor depression level in the pre-screening. And it's very simple. There are simple and free tools how to do it. So it varies from severe depression to everything okay. The longer they travel, the more depressed they get. Anybody who loves the flow model? Chicks makes me high? The Hungarian model. Anybody knows the model? It's a lovely model, isn't it? It's my favorite. Many times we use that as a departure for our analysis. Is to start with how many of the crew or people are in flow zone. We have also done this for high school students. My youngest daughter is in high school. So I said, okay, let's do it. Let's do the refresh of the teenagers. So we did. And you had a boy in high school. Had he gone for college yet? Or you have it in college? Yes, he's come to college. But it's fun to see, extremely for the girls, how the stress level and anxiety goes from freshman to senior. Or even worse, when you get into the, I thought I had 5 minutes left. When you go into the, call it chronic stress, how it turns into, or chronic stress and anxiety, how it turns into depression. School has something to learn. And the first thing they remove when you come to high school or the third year, they remove PE, or the physical exercise. But this is a model talking about skills and challenge. So going to the exam, you haven't studied, what happens? You start sweating, you're feeling bad, you wish you were not there, you get anxiety. Or if you go to university and you just do 2 + 2, it gets boring. So if you put together the red and the yellow zone, it's a risk on board the vessels. Titanic would have never hit the iceberg if there were not anxiety versus the captain. 1,512 people or something died that day. Anybody who is dealing with employee net promoter score? That is the output for, or starting point for this analysis. You see who is like loyal to the company, not just for the salary, but for the company per se, which is a big difference. And there you see, you don't have to look at it, but we have taken then a lot of companies, divided it into groups. Those who have a high loyalty among their crew, they don't have hardly any repatriations, meaning the crew getting ill on board, sent home. Versus those, the opposite, who has a very low promoter score. They have a lot of people sent home and driving the cost. We go into what type of food they have. We're measuring their acid or alkaline level. That's also one of my favorites. We'll measure their sleep level, if they sleep well or bad. We're going to their social media. We even do religion to see more on the social how many they speak to, etc., etc., etc. So this is like India in a nutshell, I think, on board the vessels. We even did that analysis, and I really did not want to do it for a while to see, is there a difference between the religions? It is not when it comes to this thing. I actually did it just before I come here. So we're going to the end. So let's look at the value of a person who is smiling or loyal to his employer versus one who is not. So the promoter, those who are happy with their employer, those who embrace the brand, etc., versus the red one, who's doing the opposite. This is just about the fitness age. A guy who's happy for his employer, he's just 2 years above the fitness age, right? But one who is not is 15 years, meaning not as fit. This is how often they exercise and how little they exercise. But in short, one who is loyal to his employer, he's exercising more, he's exercising harder, and he's exercising longer. Happiness level, not too big difference, just a little bit. Importance of religion, in the middle one there is maybe the most, which is splitting out. And there, it has a value. Religion actually has a value when it comes to healing, but it can also do the same on the other side. It depends on your struggle or your, call it the negative religious coping you're having. And the biggest difference here would be the promoter at 9 and the detractor at 39. So almost a 4-time difference, meaning that they struggle more. This is maybe the most important one. If you look at the flow zone here, this one. Oh, I thought it was a screen. 7.5 time, or 7.75 for an Indian who's doing the fast calculation here. Because you're good at math, and you even invented zeros. It's the most fun thing in the math history. And they're more anxiety, and they're getting more bored. So if you put together anxiety and boredom, 96% risk of a person who is not loyal versus the one who's loyal with 69%. Engagement, they're not as engaged. They're feeling more lonely, and they're more concerned. I'm not sure what all the religious scriptures are saying, but the Bible says something like, if you're talking badly about somebody, if you have a negative mindset, it goes into your joints. And it does. Study said at least. I just like to test it. Anybody who's working with will skill. So now we're looking into the flow and we're saying, okay, how can we increase take the detractors, the Suresh down there, in the green one, to making him to Arjun up there. But these are just then different kind of strategies we're putting in place for the clients, how to move a person step by step. And there are like 9 steps we take him through. Yes, I do believe actually in steps because they like it. We do it, huh? 5 minutes? Huh? Okay. So let's look. What's the effect of an angry bird? Well, first of all, a company who has a top head who's very angry, who doesn't smile, more people get heart attack in the company. And you get more angry birds. 45% will replicate his attitude. So keep on smiling, okay? Do that. Because it is matters. And if you look at three points here of the health expenditure, disengagement and lack of loyalty. So I'm angry. I go around And well, we can't be happy all the time because then you would have put into chains, right? Happy 100% of the time, you're put into chains. 95% is good, okay? But people go more to the doctor. Health expenditure is up 50%. You have more accidents and injuries, 50 to 80% increase. People are getting anxious. They're getting nervous in doing something wrong. Anybody who had an angry boss? Anytime? No? You've been lucky. Boss? Anytime? Maybe sometimes, huh? Anyway, people are more sick and they're more away from office. But this goes to the hearts of the owners when you say, okay, have an angry attitude. What happens to your stock exchange? It goes down. Your value of your stocks will decrease if you're continuing with this one. And the accidents on board a vessel is increasing. And the profitability is decreasing by 60% in average. And, well, you have to change a lot of people if you just have angry people. I just put this up, and I didn't know where to put it in. But sitting is the new smoking. You should be standing. So you know the rule, 20 minutes sitting, 2 minutes standing. We should do it across today, huh? Just so we remember it. So I just put it in here. So we should remember it. This is the next phase we're doing. We're putting this online so everybody can go in and have a look. Next time, we're also putting in all types of nationalities when we go into culture. And culture is so, I was trying to analyze you when we were talking here, and I was thinking, okay, you're from Slovakia or something, right? Slovenia. So I was thinking, okay, she's there. I tried to map you when you were standing here, which is kind of fun. And we map all the Indians. India is our second biggest market, so it's fun to do it. And we should remember this. And we should try to make every day a Valentine's Day. If you're obese, probability of dying earlier, 20%. If you're drinking too much alcohol, 30%. Smoking, 50%. But having poor relationships is 70%. Is underestimated the value of smiling, of accidents, the financial results. Who hasn't quarreled with somebody in your family or at work? It feels horrible, at least for me. But luckily, I've been married for 25 years. I have my beautiful wife here as well. We haven't quarreled one in 25 years. So, thank you. Smile. Make every day a Valentine's Day. And because it's good for you, and it's good for the wallet. So, thank you.